Windows to Japan is here. This is the entrance to our office. There's a beautiful wooden door. It's nice weather here, so we can keep it open. This door already represents our philosophy, supporting of local craftsmen, the potter, the wood worker. The wall is actually made of metal. A creative artist, as you can see here. This is another part. And this we go into the office. This is the place where people work. It's a lunchtime now, but so we see some of them. Our open space. Behind that door is our gym, so people can use. Here is Tom, working in the group section. And over here some people, the rest you will see soon, enjoying their lunch. I'm moving on. And again, you can see the tea ceremony room, which is very innovative. Another concept of Windows to Japan, being innovative, creative, supporting also innovative artists. It's hexagon in shape. I used also pieces of coming from old houses that have been destroyed, like you can see here, or over here. So this is the tea ceremony room. And here is our kitchen. Here is Naoko there, she came towards us. People are enjoying lunch. This is our bar over here. Here is Machiko-san. Hi. Okay. And we have more people here. So this is our Japanese garden. Place to enjoy, relax time. Here is Maxi with Chio here sitting, and this is our recreating area. We have a mini golf, table tennis. Behind we have a football, and some of our values, what we believe in, being in the guest shoes, your shoes, and this is some of the company's culture here, parties, trips together, as you can see here. Touching lives is the vision. You will hear later about it. This is the area where we call the Wikipedia. And we're going into our office. Here is Meredith. I will mention her later. Meredith is here. Again, our office, you see the beautiful woodwork supporting him. The artwork of an innovative young artist. She basically tore the cloth apart and connected different lines as we connect people from different cultures, touching lives. Our logo is on the other side. The color is always, this is our original logo. So the shape is always the same, the values are the same, the vision is the same, but different for each guest. And this is Windows to Japan. Hi everybody, this is Avi from Windows to Japan. Next to me is Meredith, who made this beautiful presentation and makes lots of beautiful materials for marketing for us. Windows to Japan. So we are based in Japan. I myself, an ex-Israeli, moved to Japan permanently about 23 years ago. I came to Japan first time for about 3 months. I stayed 1.5 years. Fell in love in the country, went to finish my university degree in Japanese and Eastern Studies, and then came back to Japan, and since then I'm here. I spent 3 years in a Zen monastery, and most of the time I spent in Kyoto, even though I lived in Tokyo and other areas. This represents many people here, like Meredith too. She came to Japan, fell in love, and she came to Japan from the US, fell in love, and she's still here. And many of us, each one with his own interest and connections. And I'm mentioning that because the philosophy of Windows to Japan is basically, the vision is touching lives. People traveling, they meet different cultures, they meet different people, and lives are connected and touching life in that sense, but also people meet, have the space for themselves, to be with their family, and recreate the moments where their lives are touched by the culture, by the moments, by the places, by the people they visit. The way we create that, and I think it's very unique for Windows to Japan, is the level of personal relationship we develop. You can see, for example, the picture in front of you. When I call and ask for a geisha for an evening, I'm not asking for a geisha actually. I'm asking for a geisha, but I'm asking by name. So in this case, I will want to have Kikumaru, the lady who is smiling to you. It's a geisha that we used to work with about 10 years until she retired. She retired because she got married. And we still have contact with her, which usually it's not usual in this world. The connection is not that personal, but we develop that personal connections that carries on also to the guest and their experience. We have a tea master that he is, again, from personal connection. My wife studying tea with him, another lady in the office studied tea with him, and we do lots of tea ceremony with him. But we also adjust it very much to the guest. So he will not fit every guest, even though he's the head of the school of tea in Japan, so he's number one in his school. But maybe we have guests with fast pace. So the connection we have and personal connection we have with different people allows us to choose the right people, the right guides, the right suppliers, the right providers to the right guests. Fast pace guides are good with kids. Guide would maybe with teenage, with adults, in different guides who are specialized in history or in architecture or whichever it is. So that personalized touch, the handcrafted approach is all the way. Today I want to concentrate especially on the group because we really try to promote the groups and increase the group operation in the company, and we want to bring more people to Japan. So same goes with the group. The concept is always the same. It's a handcrafted. We adjust. We build together with you. We understand your concept, what you want to achieve, what you want, what experience you want for your guest, who are your competitors, what they offer, and how to give you the advantage there or the extra value. And through this personal connection, we can help to create that very personalized itinerary and experience and touch lives as a group. Japan became very popular in the last few years. One of the obvious things is the food. Sushi is international word. It's not Japanese anymore. I think another reason, you see the reasons on the screen at the moment, but I think one more important reason is the safety in Japan. And I'm not talking just about safety as political issues or terrorism that we meet a lot, unfortunately, in the past few years, but also personal safety, and I had many guests experience that and they loved it. Japanese people are very kind, very friendly, even if they don't speak fluent English, they will be very friendly in helping people, and people feel very safe, even in the most remote places in the country. The sky is not the limit. These pictures represent each one a long story, so I will try to be short. We started Windows to Japan in 2005 when a guy came and he said, I would like to have my children going into a movie, a samurai movie, basically dress up as a samurai and fight and take in a movie. He was willing to pay, and he did. And we're talking about 100 actors and actresses that were doing that with all the setting and so on, and we made it for him. And this is how we started, basically, where a big Japanese company said we simply don't know how to do that. The center picture talking about it's basically a tradition of a puppet show, goes back in history, and here we can give you an access to behind the scenes, meet the actor who moves or the person who move the puppets, and hear the story that it's usually hidden and it's usually a closed world. The tea ceremony on the right, well, tea ceremony is not a secret in Japan, but the way and the twist with this person and the special touches there are very unique, and again, personal connection led us to be able to do something which is not usual. Meredith made a beautiful luxury experience. Actually, it's a digital booklet which we can send it to you. On the left, you see again a personal connection. We can take the guest to meet a guy who used to be #1 sumo wrestler in his time. Now he retired. He's still celebrity in Japan, very well known. He cannot walk freely in the street because they treat him as celebrity until this day. But we can have amazing day with him, seeing training. We can have the guests having long clothes if they wish and going to the ring, or having spend a day with him and touching this world and much more through his eyes. On the right, we have a few ways of doing that. For example, the grandson of one of the most famous Japanese designers, garden designers in Japan, in Japanese history, including him actually. The grandson himself is very well known a scholar of Japanese gardens. Both of them we know on personal connections, and I had dinner more than once with both of them. As I mentioned before, we want to concentrate on groups. So we can have general groups or specific interest or theme. We had before garden groups. We have actually garden group right now in Japan from a garden association from the US. We had art group, even donors of famous museums around the world. Pottery groups. We had textile group. We had yoga and spiritual groups. We have a Reiki group. We had photography, nature photography request. It didn't come out yet, but we're working on it at the moment. We had a rail group that came, that we chartered the luxury train and for the whole train for us, with special events on the train too, and so on and so on. So we can create that. We even had a group of martial artists who wanted to go after the life of a famous samurai. So we created a tour for them specifically, or it can be a general tour. Yet we can include lots of windows, experiences, encounters that touch in lives and make the difference in the tour. As written here, the 15 is a magic number. Of course, it can be less, but usually if we're talking also price-wise, from 15 it looks a bit more affordable, and we have some we have a free for the guide and so on. Talking about prices, Japan is not Thailand or Vietnam, so if you want to have the right image, think about Japan as Scandinavia. So if you think about what it costs to travel in Scandinavia, Japan is about the same range, not as Asia. So we have no more than 25. Also reminding you that many of the encounters we have are very intimate and personal, many times in people's houses where the studio or workshop is. So smaller numbers, 25 is still a very good number to do that. We have guides that we interview guides. We check each one of them. We are not relying on the guide license, and we have our in-house guides as well, and we have specialist guides of art, architecture. We have guides who are specialized in culinary and so on and so on, photography guide and more. Here is an example. We won actually a competition by the Japanese government. About 10 or 13 agents went to that competition, and because of the uniqueness of the offer, it all was the same area, which is a beautiful off the beaten path north of Tokyo. Still very rustic, local life, local culture, tradition, beautiful places, beautiful people that we can have very moving times. It can be a part of a tour, of a general tour of Japan, of the classic Japan plus a beautiful off the beaten track path, or it can be a tour of its own. So this is an example that we're showing you here. And from that area on the left, you see a guy who is actually making this historical toys. It's a traditional Japanese children toy. So you put them together, and actually the aim is to have all the balls going on top of this cup. He turns it over. On the right, you see, as I mentioned before, it's a very rustic area. So we see that in the temples. This specific one is in a complex of temple that very important in Japan and has a special place in Japanese heart. I was about months ago, I gave a 4-day seminar for guides in this area, how to guide foreigners in this area, and all of them expressed their wish that the next seminar will be in this mountain. They want to learn better how to guide it because it's very special for them. On the right, the artist who make the lion faces for the Lion Dance Festival. So again, tradition that it's still alive and our guests can see it. And we have this personal connection in this area to bring it alive to our guests who go there. Luxury accommodations. Again, we look for the places that we can also provide those luxury accommodation, and this is all in that area. I myself stayed in this place not long ago in one of the inspections. This is another tour, and here we combine the classic, the basic classic. You see here Kyoto, which is the heart of traditional Japan. Tokyo, Hakone, which is the area over here, Mount Fuji and open air museum, beautiful art. Tokyo, the hub of modernism. And again, the up north, off the beaten path, meeting local people, local culture, tradition, beautiful nature, lots of outdoor activities also. So we combine that just as an option and suggestions. The people of the area, again, from textile artists to painters to potters, musicians, festivals. Japan is over 50,000 festivals a year. So it has lots to offer. Generally speaking, one of the things I find very attractive in Japan is that dynamic tension between tradition and modern. It's always there in Japan. It's beautiful, exists together. So we can see that even in the big cities. Many times I say we don't always have to go to the off the beaten path, but even Tokyo and Kyoto or Osaka can be beautiful places of authenticity. Meredith developed out of her own passion to street food, a beautiful tour in Osaka, which is taking people a night tour to very local places to eat street food. So people go and hop from place to place and enjoy that authentic urbanism. So wrap it up. Our concept, there are some points here on the screen, but basically we cater from mid-range all the way up to ultra high-end. We have groups that are ultra high-end and many groups that are also mid-range. We recommend 15 to 25 people on a group. Usually the process will be that we will understand your concept, what you want to provide to your guests, and once we have that, we will build up together itineraries that will be very unique for you and will give you a twist and a special experience that will make the difference for your guests, and it will be something that touches their lives and not just they could find on the internet on their own. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking to hear from you. Windows to Japan.